everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tess. Today is Monday the 7th of December. Apologies for being late. I had quite a few technical difficulties yesterday and at 10 p.m. I just gave up. So you do have me in after work mode, which does mean the lighting isn't great. But if we wait for me to be able to do a daytime recording, it'll be at least a week. And let's be honest, I record at night more often than not. Before I get started, I want to give a massive thanks to Darren, Dizzy Stitcher, and Hannah from Hannah Dowling for their lovely shout outs. I know I have a few more viewers thanks to their lovely kind words. I hope you find a reason to stay and join me on my cross-stitch journey. I do have notes, so hopefully I'll be able to keep it relatively organised. I've got a pretty standard format each month. November's a little different because there was a virtual retreat, but you'll see as I go through, so let's just get into it. At the end of November, I had a total of 106,151 stitches. I was originally aiming for 200,000. 2020 happened and that just clearly is not going to happen. But I did reach my secondary goal of 100,000, so I'm pretty happy with that. In the month of November, I stitched 9,945. Unfortunately, yet another month. I wish I had been paying a little more attention to where I was at, because another half hour of stitching and I could have had a 10k month. But every stitch counts. It is what it is. I'm going to get straight into my whips. First up is my standard. I'm going to go a little bit into detail, as I do know I've got a few new subscribers. This is Haystack Sunset, photography by Jeff Pritchard, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. That was the original chart. I have broken it into a quadriptych piece. I love the style of artwork and wasn't able to find a cross stitch which I liked enough to be able to do, so I sort of did it myself. I will also share a photo of the first panel which I completed last year. Haven't shown that for a while, and this is where was up to last time you saw it with part 2, and this is where I'm up to now. So I'm still making decent progress. I'm really happy with the way it's going. It's looking a little dark because of the time of day. In November, I did 6,182 stitches. I did manage to finish another colour, and I also completed my 100-day challenge, where I challenged myself to stitch on it for half an hour every day, and I managed 23,354 stitches in the 100 days. I have worked on this every single day without fail since the 1st of January 2019, and it was just getting a lot of single stitch days thanks to the overwhelmingness of COVID and working from home. So I wanted to sort of give it a bit of a kickstart and get it back progressing, which that achieved. Also at the Mittagong retreat, it came up in conversation, just a query as to how far I am through the entire piece, and I've figured out then, so it's possibly a little further, that I was 30% complete across all 4 pieces, so that's pretty exciting as well. Part 2 is sitting at 60%. Next up, I have the Peppermint Purple Blackwork sale. I will show you what I had done, and then I'll show you what I've gotten up to. So the original sale is just sort of one one of these, I decided I wanted it to be square so I could finish it as a cushion. So I have flipped the piece and am working it upside down. This is the original colorway. And then when I was thinking about backing fabric, I knew it would be difficult to find colors matching and I didn't want it plain black. So I have inversed the colors and was starting that as well. If you've seen my last couple of videos, you do know that I've been considering restarting because I couldn't match the fabric I've done these two on, because Claire did announce in 2021 that it's possible to do the same layout, and I bit the bullet. I have restarted. So I've only done one of the four so far, just the two inner outer borders. Obviously I've got a few around that to decorate the square, but that's, I guess, the main part. I guess one benefit of restarting, I've got to look at the positives. When I stitch at this time, I'm going to leave, it's probably easy to show, these inner squares, I'm going to stitch them after the fill. I just found some squares were a bit messy to come up on, but you can see I've got quite a few added borders that need to go back into it, but I'm happy with my decision to restart. I know it's best for me in the long run, and that was 550 stitches, because it's, I know, because it's back stitch, it counts as half. So yeah, next up I have Quotes to Live By. This is by Stitch Rovia. I don't have a cover image, I haven't been able to find it, the pattern is no longer available. I am doing this on a coffee dyed piece of fabric. I'm doing a full colour conversion, and I'm using, again, I like setting myself little challenges. This is being used for a, sorry, I have a very needy kitty. This piece is being used for a 24-hour of cross stitch challenge. Jen Lee has been hosting this for a while. I think once a quarter they have a weekend where they stitch for 24 hours over 3 days. That was never going to be possible for me, so I've sort of made my own this year because I wanted to join in, and decided to stitch on whatever piece I decided for a full 24 hours, even if it took several months, which this one has. I can't remember how many hours I worked on it in November. I forgot to look up that detail. I've done 1,224 stitches, so it's probably 2 or 3 hours, and I'm now up to 13 hours complete. Here's a photo of where it was last time you saw it. I will do some digging in the photos, and this is where it is now. So I've completed the borders other than the back stitch, and then I've started up the top in the first panel. Really happy with how my colours are coming out. Was questioning them for a while, but they're definitely growing on me, which is good. Hopefully that continues and I don't need to unpick anything. And then last up with my standard cross stitching, I guess, I had a new start. Tea and Books, artwork by Bridget Ashwood, again charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing this as a stitch along with Armour from Armour's Little Wonders, Manda from Pennington Terrace, and Jay from Jay's X Stitch. I will of course link everyone down below. I only managed 147 stitches on this. I was getting into it fully, loving every stitch, and it turns out, even though I have an entire DMC collection, I was missing a colour, so that is all I managed so far. I think pretty much all of the empty slots are the missing colour. By the time I purchased it, I had moved on. So that's on 28 count, easy guide, 1/1. I am moving more towards this size as I realize how many heids I have, realizing that I'm never going to have enough wall space for them all if I ever finish even a quarter of them. So unless I really, really love a piece or have started it already, it's most likely going to be on 28 count going forward. So as I said, that's my standard normal stitching. We had a virtual Mittagong Stitches retreat as we couldn't catch up in person this year with everything going on. Michelle and Kerry did an amazing job to have it continue, and they had Facebook events with challenges. You could either stitch a certain colour, themes, and most of the counts were 200. I managed to do 5 of the challenges, and I will share them with you now, plus another start which I woke up too late to include in the challenges. I may or may not have a before photo for these whips. Apologies if I don't. I have not been as organised as I would like to be and usually am this year, so I will put one in if I've got it, and sorry if I don't. First up is Birth of a Star, artwork by Rachel Anderson, again charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I put in 200 stitches. It's really boring because it's just 939. If you can sort of see the ghost of my unpicking, this is when I was relatively new to cross stitch. I tried 3/1 because I was worried about the coverage, and working on Haystack taught me that 2/1 is fine because it all puffs up when you wash. So I want to give all of my whips more love, but we'll figure out a way. Next up is Po Body's Nerfect. This is self-charted using Pictopat. In a previous hobby, I've actually purchased the commercial rights to both of these fonts, so I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but there it is. I will hopefully have put in a photo of where it was last time, and this is where it's up to now. I put in 208 stitches, and you can almost tell that that's supposed to be an N. And if you watched my plans and goals video last fortnight, you know that I really want to get this finished next year. Give it some more love and it might happen. Next up, we have Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I'm using a grey mottled even weave 32 count. I can't remember the name of it. I just got it off the bolt at my L&S, and I'm using a new Flosstube Brindabella threads local to Canberra. Hopefully again I've put in where it was last time you saw it, and this is where it is now. So can't really tell the stitching from the shadow, but I just worked down the border. I am planning on going all the way around and matching it up before I start doing the fun stuff, because I'd feel more comfortable that way. Next up, we have Four Seasons Cell by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm doing this 1/1 on 32 count by Colour Cascades. I'm pretty sure the colourway is At Last. I'm using a lightly variegated DMC thread. I cannot remember the number and I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. Again, hopefully you saw where it was last time. And this is where I got up to. I've discovered recently my love of non-full coverage. Hannah has mentioned a similar thing, but I'm sort of dipping my toe in the water by using 1/1 on 32 count. It's not as much of a size commitment, and I think it looks a lot more delicate, which really works for my aesthetic. So that is there. Hopefully I'll finish that sooner rather than later. Debbie Wilson and Liz Packard both did that piece, and I can't wait to see them all photographed together because it's amazing the difference the fabric and floss choice makes. And I did 488 stitches on that one. That was no, I don't know if I told you Pandemic. Pandemic was 488. That was a larger challenge. And I did 226 on the Four Seasons sale. You'd think I'd be used to Flosstubes this many in. Last up for the challenges I completed, I've got Bloom and Grow by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Again, I am doing this 1/1. I can't remember. You'll see a photo of where it was before. I can't remember if this is 28 count or 32 count, but I just got a little bit of the pot in. I do want to get back to that. I love the design, obviously, but I am happy I decided to do 1/1 because I think it looks, for me, a lot nicer, being, again, very delicate. And last up with the retreat, there was a prompt for Christmas stitching. I don't do a lot of seasonal stitching, but I saw this chart in a new Aussie magazine, which I'll mention in a bit. It's Aussie Christmas by Frog Cottage Designs, and I finally was brave enough to stitch on a fortnight fabric. This is from their fall winter collection, The Greens, and I'm using a Silks For You Silk of the Month. And hopefully I showed you what it should have looked like. And this is what I've gotten done, and that was 513 stitches. Clearly not going to make it for this Christmas, but hopefully next Christmas, but definitely 2022. Set myself, it's going to be done by 2022. So that's all the stitching from the retreat. You would think when you go to a retreat you normally buy things because that's what happens. I did make a purchase, but it wasn't cross stitch related. Abby from Top Knot Stitcher, through some random conversation, was talking about crystallized lemon, and so I went on and I found it. So I've bought 3 boxes. Apparently I don't have the one she was talking about. I'm still on the lookout for True Lemon, not the lemonade. They're not too bad. I don't know if I'm following the instructions. That's yes. I don't know if I'm following the instructions correctly, or whether it's too strong for me. They're quite sweet. I'm trying to figure out a way to easily halve it or water it down, because they come in sort of pre-measured sachets, so I think it'd be quite messy to try and halve that, and I would like to have them at work, so I don't really want to have a larger jug that I pour from, but I'll work on that. But thank you, Abby, because I am quite enjoying them, and it's a novelty to find new things. So that was the retreat. I will go through my purchases quickly before I get to my standard. I bought Down the Rabbit Hole. It's a new Aussie magazine subscription. The first one has just come out. It will be released quarterly, and I believe next year they're hoping to have a special Christmas edition, I think I read. Definitely check it out. I loved quite a lot of the designs and will probably be adding to my whip list because that's what I need. Yeah, definitely check it out. I need apologies. Did not plan. What have I done? Oh no. My computer went to sleep. It's been that long. I don't usually talk this much. Oh, hang on. Into 16. Okay, so my water bottle for some reason has ounces as a measurement. You're supposed to put the packet into 16 ounces of cold water. My water bottle is 24 and it's still too strong for me. So I wasn't following the directions incorrectly. Anyway, on that tangent. First up, we have the October Silk of the Month Club. It did not arrive in time for my November update, and the colours are just stunning. Like, I need to find a piece that uses all of these together because they just look so good. Love it. I always love their piece or their silk. And then the November Silk of the Month. And again, this one, it's not showing true to colour because it is dark and the lighting is horrible. But I'm upset that it's a Silk of the Month because I would buy an entire hank of that. It is amazing. So yes, that's October, November. I do also have their 12 Days of Christmas. You are supposed to start on the 14th of December, I believe, but because I am going away for Christmas, I didn't want to try and take that with me and worry about losing it or not looking after it properly. So I started on the 1st, and I'm not going to show anything because I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I will share that in my next update. But I'm sure there are others out there that will do a much better job of showing what they got. I know, Baba. Yeah. So that's not it for my purchases because I almost forgot Fortnite fabrics. You're distracting me. So this month I got the October fabric of the month in the mail. They also gave you 2 lollipops. I don't know if that's because I got both colorways, but I was very restrained and only ate one of them. But I will be enjoying this one as soon as the editing is done. Thankfully, I held off last night. The first one is Hedgehog, and again, they're not going to show, but this one is absolutely stunning. Love, love, love. I love all their fabric and am too scared to use it, which is why my first piece was many, many months after I joined the club. And then the colorway, or the colorful one, is Marigold. And it's not showing true to color as you would imagine with poor lighting. I have signed up for all 4 Fabric of the Month clubs for next year, so I'm excited to expand my stash, and hopefully with more and more I will be less hesitant to use it. Another purchase I made, this isn't entirely cross-stitch related, but it'll be used for my planner and my plans. I bought a new iPad Pro with the pencil. The case is coming later. Very excited to use that, and I'm busy setting up my planners, so my stitching has taken a bit of a hit. And these just arrived today, so you wouldn't have seen them if it wasn't for the technical difficulties. I've only been seeing them recently. The lighting is getting worse. Silicone magnet things. I have a lot of excess fabric with the size of the whips I do, and the little spoolies don't hold enough for me. I don't like that the grime guards seem to crush, and because I grid with fishing line, I can't iron projects. So I bought quite a few of these little silicone magnet ties, and I hope they work for me to keep my fabric in check. Okay, almost there, I promise. I'll go through the Flosstube channels that I've discovered in the month of November, and then I will also give a quick overview of my plans for next month, or this month as it is. I apologise, my very dead work brain is not going to come up with any good descriptors for these channels. Just trust me, they are all amazing and you should go check them out. First up is Pam's Crafty Corner. I've only discovered her recently when she brought in a new Coffee, Crime and Craft series. She uploads that once a fortnight. I love true crime, so I really love someone who's crafting while talking about it, and I can sit there and craft along as well. Then there is the Millennial Stitches, Sarah and Nathan. They are an absolute hoot, and I cannot help but smile while watching them. They are so lovely. I love the interaction between them both, and I'm loving how much progress they're getting. They're putting me to shame at least. I'm sorry for saying so much. Snark and Spark, Emily, again, can't help but smile when you watch her. Absolutely amazing. Go check her out. Mentioned him earlier, Darren, Dizzy Stitcher. I have no idea how this is the first month I've discovered him. I swear I've known about him for a while. Hi, baby. But it just came up again in conversation, and I went and had a look and wasn't subscribed. But then again, he reached out to me letting me know that he'd given me a shout out, and I was a bit confused because I don't remember seeing the video. I went to his channel and YouTube had unsubscribed me. So that's annoying, but I'm going to make a note and an area in my planner where I have all my Flosstube channels that I want to watch, and I make sure that I check them every so often. I'm sure everyone has heard of this next Flosstuber. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery has started a channel, and if you know his designing, you know his pieces are gorgeous, and he goes into a bit of the history with a lot of the recreation samplers, so definitely go check him out. Sorry, being distracted, don't need any help. And last but not least, Darcy Cameron, new to Flosstube. I will give you a warning, there is a bit of language, but again, he is an absolute hoot, and I could not stop laughing while I was watching him, and his stitching is gorgeous, so go check him out. That's all of the new to me Flosstubers from the last month. Just really sorry. A little bit of housekeeping. I can't remember if it was my plans video or my October update. I mentioned my whip parade was coming. Originally, I wanted it to be uploaded on the 31st of December. Now that I am going away and have given it a bit more thought, I've decided to push it out to January, and it will be a full 2020 overview. I know I did my first whip parade in March, but this one will be uploaded probably the 10th of January, and it will be every single piece that I've worked on this year. It'll give their stats. So there are quite a number of pieces that I haven't worked on this year. They will still be shown because they are active whips, but that way I can fully encompass my 2020 stitching, and I will do the same going forward. Finally, I'm so grateful if you're still stuck around. Just going to go over my very tentative plans and what I would like to do in the month of December. I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to finish the 24 hours on quotes so I can start fresh in the new year. Haven't yet decided if I'm carrying it across if I don't make it, but that's neither here nor there. Haystack Sunset, I should be able to get another colour finish by the end of the year, so I'm pushing for that. Peppermint Purple, I would like to have the other 3 pieces to the same level, at least. It's probably all they're going to get to. Get my planners sorted, because I like to be organised. You wouldn't be able to tell watching this video or any of my videos recently. I've lost track a bit. Anyway, sorry, I just had to go look that up really quickly. I am planning on starting Apple Blossom Mini by Marianne Broom. Again, Heaven and Earth Designs. If you saw Hannah's last video, it was a stitch with me at this point of recording. I'm going to try her method, so that will be started soon. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I just realised that I won't see you again until January in the new year. Have an amazing holiday, whatever you celebrate, if you don't celebrate anything, and a wonderful new year, and I will see you in 2021. Bye, guys.